Thank you, Pa. I cannot really see everyone since the light is on me, but we will do a little exercise as well during this session. But first and foremost, I'm very thankful for being invited to be talking about things that I have been thinking about and working about for the last 10 years. So many of the things that you will listen to today, the perspective and all the slides and PowerPoints, you will also be able to get them afterwards. So if you want to take a picture, you can always do it, because I'm a very visualized as a person. So there are many slides that I think will encourage your ideas and also help you to be more hopeful when you're working with students. So when I'm talking about young adults, I'm thinking about our students who are very young and they come from another part of education now. They're in the university and then they will move forward. So I'm talking about young adults, but I'm thinking about students. To begin with, I would like to do a little exercise just because we have just eaten. Unfortunately, I cannot see all of you, but you can help me by raising your hands if you feel this question really suits you. How many of you are doing today what you thought you would be doing when you were 15? Is there anyone here? Slightly, yeah, there's some people, always some. We take another question, we take like 10 years forward. And how many of you at 25 knew for sure what you wanted to do with your career? We have some, yes. Not the majority, not even 50 of here. So there are certain people who started to think about a career when they're 25. And this is something that's very interesting. I think it's tells us something's important. Even we now, that we are in the working life and we are having a great job, maybe great colleagues, and we are in an environment that really suits us. Even when we were in this age, when we were 15 or 25, we didn't know what we actually want to do. But this is something that we expect young people nowadays. Might not we, but politicians, many people is talking about jobs. They need to do something when they're 19. They need to contribute for the society, for their country. But I mean, in this kind of age, it's very difficult. And if we just look like the 20 years from now, I mean, it's not easy to get a decent job for young people. It's not even easy to secure an income. So when we talk about them, you have to have a clear picture or clarity when you're 15. It's impossible. And many of the career advices that we have given people is also about finding yourself. It's almost like you need to have the answer already when you're 15 or 25. But understanding yourself and know what you want to do can take a whole life. Help people to be more hopeful. We cannot just setting the pressure to have a career as soon as possible. I know that there's a social clock that people need to follow. You need to marry at a certain age, you need to have a house and so on. But unfortunately, not everyone have the desire to do that. And that's something I think is important to have a discussion with the young people. And just by looking out in the world of work right now, we can see that there are many young people who have difficult for the transition from school to work. There's millions of young people who's not even in work or even in training or education. There's a group called NEET. We also have a lot of what can I say, mixed message. There are many advices out there. Nowadays, it's not difficult to get advices. I don't know if you have used ChatGPT or AI. You can ask them about everything. We just heard from the former president. He could have just made his session by sending a couple of questions. And I mean, we don't necessarily need information nowadays. We have access to information from all over the places. What we really need nowadays is really conversation that is helping people, not just information. We need to help them to collect information, get evidence about the world of work, and then connect them to themselves. That's something I think is more necessary, because information are a lot out there, and unfortunately there's a lot of AI slops as well. Another thing that I'm thinking about is this report from OECD that is talking about that children have had like occupational IDs already when they turn 5 years old. And unfortunately, they are very traditional. Female-dominated profession by girls, when they're choosing the top 30 occupational, unfortunately, they are very connected to female-dominated profession. And when it comes to the young men, it's the same. So unfortunately, there are IDs already in the early ages about what kind of jobs suits me. And this is something that is unfortunately, because I don't know how many jobs titles out there. Do you guys have any number that you're thinking about?
1 million.
1 million? I have read somewhere 8,000, but I tried to figure out, so I asked ChatGPT. It says around 1,000 when it comes to the Americans database called O Online. I don't know about that, but I know if you just look at LinkedIn nowadays, you can see a lot of titles that even I never heard about, and I'm a career professional. What I'm thinking about this is we put a little bit pressure about the ideas that the kids need to think about job titles. And this is something that we introduce them in the early age. We talk about different kind of jobs. We talk about what you want to do when you grow up. Many things is about jobs when you look at TV shows. It's about a lot of things that you need to do as well. And I think this really important groups of people that calls young adults. And they are somewhere in between. And this is very interesting, because this coach is saying that to be a young person today is to experience both excitement and uneasiness, wide open possibilities and confusion, new freedoms and new fears. So there's both things at the same time. You have opportunities, but you also have limitless. At the same time, being young today is somewhere aged between 18 up to 35. And that's really fun because many people think when I'm over 30, I'm starting to get old. I mean, in many of my conversations with my students, they're around 25 years old, and they're telling me, I feel old already. I feel I'm left behind. And we can laugh about it when they're 25, but in their world, they are falling behind because they're seeing people in their age that they have started getting families, they're starting to do stuff, they maybe have a job, and now I'm still a student at your university. I'm not even graduate. So I mean, there's a pressure that they always see, social media that always highlights about the perfect life, the ideal life, and so on. So I think there's a lot of things that are happening when they're trying to identify themselves and explore who I am. Also, there's an instability, as we know. There's not a decent job, and to have a long-term jobs nowadays is very difficult to get if you don't have an education, if you don't have experience. Even students that are new graduates, they're finding difficulties to get a job because you don't have the experience. So someone needs to open the door for you. Even though if you do the things that we're telling them, study, graduate, get a job, it's not even maybe possible today because someone needs to see you to give you the opportunity so you can actually get it. So there's a lot of things we need to talk about, real talk with the students. I think there are many things that we can think about when we just look at these kind of points that I have put it up here. I don't want to go with this picture. This is something that we're telling the students, maybe, sometimes the children as well. You need to go to school, education important. We know that education is important. It's not like I'm not saying education is important, it's very important. And it's an investment, but we cannot just telling people to educate and then everything will be solved. Because education is one key. And one of the things that I'm telling my students nowadays, I think we need to be authentic when we talk about the future with our students. I'm telling them when you finish your education and get a degree, you won't get a job. Because you need to apply to that job. Nowadays, it's about recruitment process. You need to understand how you can manage the working life. You need to understand job strategies. You need to do certain things. Sometimes it's out of your comfort zone, but this is the types of things you need to do. It's actually not your degree that gets you a job. It is about people who can hire you or giving you an opportunity. So you need to talk with people who have the job that they can offer you. And I think that's something we need to remind our students, that you cannot just only focus on your education. You also need to focus on all the small steps that you're doing during your 3 years or 5 years or whatever it could be. And another thing with the message is also about the social clock that I just mentioned, which is some kind of, you need to reach some major life milestone as soon as possible. And unfortunately, it can make many people very anxiety about it, but it can also make many people that, I don't want to have this kind of life. I've seen my parents, they're working a lot, they don't have time with me, I don't want to have it. A lot of the conversation I have with students, they start to challenge the idea of having a professional working life. Why do we work so much? Is one question. I don't want to work. I want to have my own company. I want to do something small, little, have a little farm, or do something, just be an entrepreneur instead of just having a career. Career doesn't suit me. So for many people I'm talking about, the idea of career can make them feel very unsure about the future. They don't see themselves and they don't think they have a career. And that's something I think we need to take a necessary discussion with them. Not that they need to have a career, but what does a career actually mean? So if we just go back here and just look at this picture, I don't know if we have any career advisors here. We have 1, 2, 3. I don't know if you can relate it to this picture. We do a lot of things that is good, a lot of things that we believe in. We're offering a lot of workshop, we're offering a lot of session, but unfortunately the student doesn't come. And this is a global issue, I guess. I've been talking with a lot of career advisors around the world. We do a lot of things, we hope that the student will come, and sometimes there are even more career advisors and the students in the session. So that's an issue we have. The student doesn't come to us, they come to us when they think they will need us. And unfortunately, sometimes it's even in the end of the term of the education, or even later than that. So we don't reach the students. So how can we reach the students? Is one question. And I think I have a little answer about it, because as a career professional, we don't give advice. This is something that is true. In the heart and soul of career guidance counseling, we don't give advice to people. We are not telling people what to do. We're just offering them ideas, perspective, we challenge them, we're trying to help them to understand themselves. We're trying to help them with the empowerment, we're trying to help them to find their own way. So we never tell people what they actually do. So instead, they go to the other side, where there are a lot of different kinds of programs, different kind of websites, different kind of influencer, people who's out there who can tell them a little bit about the career advice no one gives you. So this is another challenge that we have as career professional and also university, that we are encountering informal career experts who's telling them that buy my course. I was telling you the best way to get $1 million in a span of 2 months or whatever it could be. Have you seen those kind of ads on YouTube and TikTok and so on? There's a lot of people out there who want to tell other people how they can manage their life and so on. And this is something that the young people are believing, because they're feeling this is a real person who's using storytelling, who's telling me things that I can relate to. The person cares about me, even though it's a distance between online, right? And this is something that I think we need to think about, because I'm not mean that we need to compete with this kind of influencer, but we need to understand this concept of parasocial, which means that young people nowadays have a connection, a relation to other people that they even don't know. They're looking for role models out there, and it could be an influencer, a celebrity, but it also could be AI. which is also another issue we have. People start to have a relation with AI. They start to believe the things AI say. And as you know, if you have worked with AI and you have tried AI, you know AI always trying to understand you somehow. You can always say to AI, this doesn't really, the things you said here is not right, and then we just change. So the AI always tries to support your argument. So this is another issue. So if I'm asking AI about stuff, do you agree, AI? The AI will say yes, right? So what I believe here is, I think nowadays, as a university, but also at career centers and career advisor, I love this quote that we need to think about, that I learned that people will forget what you said, people forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And it says something. We can inform students with a lot of things. We can have a lot of informal meetings. We can talk about things, and we can try to give them a lot of information, but we somehow need to make them feel like they matter. The feeling that we care about them. We want their best situation. We want to support them. So I think that we need to structure things so we can make them feel that this is a real person that wants me good. It's not just about writing resume, LinkedIn, cover letter, internship. I think this is kind of stuff that we do that is very good, is important, but there's necessary other things that is under beneath that we also need to think about. Because career guidance counseling is not just about solving problems. We need to help people to understand that it's not just about a transition from education to work and then that's it. Because the life will change. We have a lot of transition that will be happening in our life. We might change job, we may change direction. People need tools to handle different kind of situation in the future. So I think we need to equip students not just by having the greatest resume for now, but we need to give them tools so they can use it when we are there. So I think what we need to do as career advisor is to send them a message that is not just about getting a paid job. What you do for the future is also what the world needs. You can actually make difference if you don't know that. You can make difference for the world, but if you think the world is too big and you cannot be a part of that, you can work with the world that inside you, which means people around you. You can change the local area, you can change the national area, you can change something in your society. You don't need to change the whole world. You can do a little piece, and you can also make a big change. So I think we need to help students to feel like they matters and they can do things more than just to get a paid jobs. Because getting a job, I don't think is so difficult when you have a good education from a university. It's about sending the message about what kind of skills I have. They need to translate the studies, the learning they have into skills, and then hopefully, with some luck, with some possibility, the open doors will come. I don't think that our students that leave the university won't get a job in the future, because there are smart people out there who will get it. And I think there's also a lot of students that already have the opportunity because they have resources so they can do. But we have a lot of students that unfortunately don't have the resources. And this is what I'm encountering in my daily job at Lund University. Student doesn't ask about the future when they come to us. They ask about the situation they're living with right now, in the moment. How can I handle my study? Will I get friends? Does I suit here in the university? That's also a question, because the sense of belonging is very important. We have a lot of students who is very alone. Loneliness is something that we have at the university. I don't know if it's in your university, but when I'm talking with students, they're sitting alone. And even sometime in the lunchtime, they're eating alone. Besides that, they're all students around them, but no one comes to them and talks with them. So sometimes you are at the university, but no one sees you. And that's also an issue that we need to talk about. So when it comes to the future, this can be something that they think about later. This is not something that's necessarily important right now. I will take it later. I cannot think about the future right now. Career is nothing I'm looking for. I just want to have a job. And that's okay as well. But what I'm thinking about is, there's a lot of things that we talk about when it comes to career strategies, but also some form of tips and advices that we give people. I don't know if you look at these 4 things. Is there something you're thinking about when you look at these 4? Dream job, LinkedIn, career, success, growth, development, social network. Imagine if you are students that have introvert personality traits. You're afraid of talking with people. You're very careful. You're trying to listen. You're trying to take small steps. You don't like to interact with a lot of people. These kind of fairs that we are here today is something that you're really afraid of. And there's certainly a lot of students, when I'm talking about this kind of thing with my colleagues, when we present things about the future career, what you need to have with you, and we talk about a lot of these kind of things, I can see the eyes, how fair they are. When they're thinking about just go to a fair and talk with a company, talk with people, do I have to do that? I don't know what to do. So these kind of things is very American job strategies that I don't mean is bad. It's very good things. This is things that we are collected by evidence, and we're working with a lot of years with experience. So I don't mean that this is something that is bad. It's very good advices, but unfortunately it's not fit everyone. So this is one way of thinking about career that we are promoting all the time. What I'm thinking about is we need to have another way of seeing career and career development. So what I'm hopefully can do with the slides that we will see here later here is to try to rethink the notion of career and career development so it's maybe more included. Because when it comes to like social network and having a dream job, it's not something that everyone needs to think about, because network is important, but there's different kinds of networking. You can have a lot of people that you know, you can have a lot of friends on LinkedIn, but that's not necessary will give you the opportunity, because sometimes we can help students to flip the model. It's not about knowing a lot of people, it's not about the right person at the right time, at the right company who can help you. That maybe will be better. So when you go to a fair, you don't need to talk with everyone. You just focus on two or three companies that you think this is important for you. You ask some of the questions that you have already prepared. So I think we need to help students to engage with social network and also social competence in another way that suits them. Because social competence is not about being a social butterfly. You're everywhere. It's about focus, it's about listening, it's about analyzing, and then talk with people. Because you can also be a japper, and that doesn't help you at all, because you can japping in front of an employer, and that can give you another picture. So what I'm trying to use is using Hooley and also the Danish professor Ria Thompson's and Sultana's idea that career is an individual path through life, learning and work, and the path that individuals take their lives, build skills, care for families, and work in the labor market makes difference to the organization in which they work and the society in which they live. So we're trying to broaden the notion of career and make it more inclusive. So career is not just about climbing the ladder and getting the best paid job and just certain person who have a career. Here is the idea that everyone can have a career. Even if you are single mom and just have a decent job, you have also a career that goes through your life. So we need to help people to see career as something that everyone's have, but they can develop in different kind of stages in life. So the ideas of your plan, that you go straight from education to your plan, maybe not work, because we know in life sometimes things happening. So we need to change direction, we need to think again, and we need to change maybe our direction or change the environment that we are in. Another picture I have is the timeline that I think we talk with people about, that you need to work from 19 to 70. And if you think about it, children that are starting school this year, they will probably work to 2019. This means we don't even know what will happen in 5 years. So imagine if we think about the kids that will enter the school this year, what will happen in their life? I don't know. Things may maybe change. Maybe we will work 4 hours in a week instead. There's a lot of things that we don't know. But I think there's a lot of things you can do, right? When you start your transition from the education when you're 19, and then you have a lot of times to actually change direction. So when I'm meeting students who's really afraid of that they are very old, I'm always showing them the timeline to highlight that you have actually 50 years in the working life. I guess you will get a very good boss sometimes in your life. You don't need to have the best dream jobs early as much as possible. Just be patient. Things will work. Trust the process. That's something I'm trying to tell the students, that take one destination at a time. Everything doesn't need to happen directly after when you're leaving the university. So this quote is sum up the things that I'm trying to say. Asking teens to pick a job title that they never have tried out is like asking them to name a future spouse before allowing them to date. So they say something, right? Unfortunately, he's passed away for some years ago. Sir Ken Robinson, he's one of the educators that I have really a lot of respect. He's talked a lot about creativity and human advantage. And I think if he will live today, he would probably have a lot of things to say about AI. He's talked a lot about human intelligence, that we all have intelligence that we need to use. We need to use our imagination, and we also need to use our human creativity to do things. And what he's talking about is that he's telling us that imagine if we actually live in two worlds. In one of the worlds is the world inside us, which means the world within you, the world that existed just because you existed. The world is consistent of you, all the person you know, all the things that you have done, your experience and so on. This is the world that you're from, that is important for you. At the same time, you also encounter a world that is around us, that has been existing before you, and it will continue to exist when you leave this world. So in this world, there's both justice, but also injustice. There's a lot of things that is open for you, but there are also a lot of things that is closed for you. So we need to help people to understand, when they are thinking about the future, that they're living in two worlds, that they need to understand that one world is around me, and another world is outside of me, that I also have to need to understand how I can connect them to. So this is what he's talking about, because I think many students, they can give up very easily when they don't see the solution in the situation. And then they talk about, I need to take another education. I don't know if you have encountered students who just recently got graduated and they're afraid about their working life, that they want to get a job or any position. Then they think about, I should get another education. So they just add another education on. And that's just not the formula, as I mentioned today. That we cannot just think about education as a solution to get a job. We need to tell them about, it's not lack of education. You maybe need strategies and need to understand the world a little bit more about all of the system that is out there, so you can really unfold the unknown. So this is what I'm thinking about when I'm meeting my students. no, not when I'm meeting my student, when the students are talking with each other. So let's say there's a group of students who's very negative about the future. We won't get a job because they're AI. So they won't start to talk about it with each other. I can't do much with this art degree. I should wait to know what I will actually do. My major equals my career and so on. So when collectively, when the students have negative thoughts about the future, unfortunately, it does something with the group, but also with the individual. They're thinking about this as a truth. If we can change one of the students or two of the students in the group, maybe we can change the whole group so they can think about it in a different way. And I think about this kind of hope that we need to help them and to prepare them for the future by helping them with self-positive talk. We need to change the way they think to give them more perspective. It's not like I have the answer, but I need to help them to change the way they think so they can actually see what is possible and what is not. It's just like you entering a football game. I don't know if you were watching World Cup, but there was one country that was really sticking out to the World Cup and didn't lose any games, and they really held out. And they were in forehand already a team that should lose. So I mean, if you think about the future and you already give up, then you won't get the possibility at all. So we need to help the students to change the way they think and flip the model so they can see more positive about things. That everything doesn't need to equal to a truth. There are many, many perspectives to see this world. So the first sum up that we can do, that a university degree used to feel like the finish line. Graduate, build a resume, apply for a job, start your career. Today, it doesn't work that way. You need to apply for jobs, but you need also to do things. You need to show evidence, proof of what you have done. I think many employers out there, they want students to tell them about what they actually do. They want to see the portfolio. They want to see stuff they have done, not just about telling. Because today you can use AI to tell about stuff. Even if you cannot tell, even if you have difficult to explain who you are, you can use AI. So it's not authentic anymore. So I think we need to help them to think differently. I think I will jump this picture because I think I have mentioned AI a lot today. So having the skill isn't enough if employers can see them. We need to help students to be more confident to telling people what they actually can do. And sometimes also showing up things, having something that they can actually prove. Not just the CV. This one is not a scientific model. This is a Japanese concept. It's called a reason for being. I don't know if you have encountered this before. Ikigai. It's like an idea to help people, young people, to think about the future. And I think this says something as well. I don't mean that I'm helping my students to use this model, but it's saying something. And I try to connect this model to another reality that we're living in. If you look at this picture instead, I think most people are somewhere here. We are doing what we are paid for. Most people simply work to live, providing for themselves and their families. So we just get a job because everyone told us that you need to have a job to pay your bills. Another thing here is many people is somewhere here, they work here, they pay for what the world needs, but may not love it. They're doing it because they see it's a possibility for me here to work. And maybe we need to help people to think about this one as well. Few or some people are close to the center, doing what they love and good at contributing to the world, and can also get paid for it. So imagine we can help people to move between these three. I don't mean that this one is bad at all, but sometimes we know that a job can be very excited. We can have a lot of job satisfaction, but unfortunately some job can also lead to burnout. So we need to help people to move forward in life as well. So I think we need to help people to see different kind of jobs that's out there. It's not just about getting paid to do your job. You can actually also be having fun when you do things. One of my biggest ideas here today is actually to give you the idea that think about the future shouldn't be something that you need to be worried about. I mean, of course, if you don't get a job, you will be worried about it because it's not something that you have to think about when you're starting your education, because you see education as an investment in your time, maybe money, a lot of energy, and you want to get paid when you're done with your education. But nowadays, the students are almost frightened for the future because they don't even know what they can do with education when they're done. So I think we need to help them to be more excited about the future. Instead of just telling them a story about how much difficult it's out there, we need to help them about seeing the possibility. We need to change and give them energy so they can actually go out and see that I can bring something for this world as well. And I think that's a very important message to help them, that they can do a lot of things more than just understand themselves. Because I have trying to collect some ideas, and I'm talking about when we think about the future plan, I don't think just about understanding myself. You need to have these kind of things as well when you're thinking about the future. How's what the world need, what kind of learning you have, what are the stuff that you actually want to learn more, because I don't think you finish your education when you're done after 3 years, because we have the lifelong learning that we're talking about, and I think we need to do it with the students as well. It's one thing when the politicians talk about lifelong learning at the university, but we need also to help students understand when you're getting your first job as a junior, you don't need to have it all. You just get started with your career, you can do mistakes, you can learn things, and you will probably learn a lot of things when you start to work. So you don't need to be a finished product when you're leaving the university. Sometimes I feel like we're just educate students to be a product for a company, so they can be helpful for a company. But the students are a living human who's go through life. We need to help them to understand that. You can stay at the company, but you can also change company if you don't like that. You will have a good boss, but you will also have a bad boss. I have also done a little website. This is a prototype. You can go in if you want to look. The web page is in Swedish, but I also try to use the Google Translate, so you can just press the button English, and then it will translate in. So what I believe is, the picture that I will leave here is, I believe that every student needs something that I call personal development plan. And I hope this is something that can be realistic in the future at the university, that we can help students to integrate the education into different kind of career activities, so they can learn throughout their first year, second year, and third year. And I believe that it's important to help students to reflect about the studies. They need to document things, and then they can translate it to certain skills in the future. So this is what I'm hopeful that we can do in the future. So we can help students with 3 big things. Study strategies, so they can actually finish their education with pride, and also with a lot of things that they learn. And then we need to help them with career strategies, so they can live a better life in the future and understand how they can cope and handle the situation, future situation, and also help them with job strategies, so they can get a decent job to begin with, and then they can find the dream jobs. Thank you.
Thank you very much.